Suck it. Yes, you will.
Let's get this beautiful podcast going, guys. I'm really happy and
Roll that
I'm really
beautiful
happy how
bean
professional we've been.
vintage.
He slimed me! Here we go.
Yeah, Jesus. It's dry.
Well, we've just been prepping for a long time, and we'd be here. Hey, welcome to the show.
Just, jeez.
We got it all going. Everyone's mad because I'm punctual,
Oh no, you're just bossy.
and I'm a Beyonce.
You
what
are
can I
being
say?
a Beyonce.
Well, it's game day,
chickadee.
and I'm gonna be as Beyonce
Is there a
as
game?
I can.
Oh, it's Thursday.
The Rams are playing. This is how the show starts anyway. Everyone likes to hear a little morning banter when we're bantering in the mornings. Eric, can you get closer to Fina? Just a wee bit.
Jeez.
I just want to be on screen,
Everyone, let's hold hands.
No.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna light this and bless us so we could get just some good things going. I'm lighting some sage up in this podcast room. We've got some incense going. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I feel blessed.
There's a lot of what's going on today? There's a historic
a historical
hearing.
event. You're right. Something very historical
today.
happened. The Dark Phoenix trailer came out, and everyone just can't. No.
Well, let's talk about what's on my mind, and that's the chickadees. The mature
for
adult
later. You don't need to write
time entertainment house chickens.
Yeah, we have 6 chicks that moved in with us. Pretty
All
hot.
named Fina. There's Runt Fina right now. That's the only one that stands out from the crowd, which is regular Fina in real life.
Yeah, about the same height. We do love some Runt Fina.
Runt Fina's the boss. But the chickens, the little chickadees, are outside now, aren't they?
They're in their
chicken
they're
coop.
in a stage 1 coop. We have 2 coops here at the household, and right now they're in the front elevated coop. Eventually, that'll be like their play yard coop, and we'll cut a hole in the bottom and the sides, and they'll be able to come down. But their back
So
coop,
cute.
they're getting a back coop. So these chickens
Right
are
now,
like
they're in
have
the
2
front.
houses. Yeah,
They're in the front.
they're living bougie lives like
They got a
country club,
vacation home.
like country club having Kavanaugh. But it's an upgrade too. They moved up. It's like 3 times the size.
Yeah. We can barely. This is what happens when we rush. There we go. Now we can hear big old air. So some of them, oh, there you go.
There we go.
Some of them chickadees have so many feathers. It's amazing how fast they grow, but their feathers are so cute. I can't wait to see them.
They are.
That's number.
Confirm.
That's number 3.
It's I can hear you now.
That's a big confirm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
folks, for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're just.
Not even that difficult.
It's not even that difficult. It's not even that technical.
We're just
What are we doing?
I've been farming all morning, and when I farm, I get serious.
You gotta switch into podcast
I cut
mode.
my finger while cutting poultry wire. Like a man, didn't even complain. I'm not even complaining now. I'm bragging.
Okay.
This man shit. Anyways, this is kind of weird, but we're gonna start off at the beginning. While we have Serafina here, because we normally always have Serafina here. You guys always see 4 of us. Today we only have the 3. We're gonna have Mel later. We're gonna be doing an interesting. But before we start, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the other shows that you run. How do you like your eggs?
How do you
like your eggs? So it's one of our other shows here on the Mature Adult Time Entertainment Network, and we just want to pimp it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us what you do and how you do it.
Well, this show has been okay. The background of the show is inspired from I like to have people over at my house, and sometimes I need people around me. It may or may not be because I'm a huge procrastinator.
Yeah.
Okay, but I like people over my house, and I don't really. I refuse to cook just on principle. I know how to do it, but I refuse.
Same way.
But out of necessity, I've been making. I started making just breakfast. So for me and my friends that are over at the house, usually comedians, I just make eggs for us, and I make eggs really well. And I was like, oh, and then we just hang out and talk. So I was like, that would be maybe a fun conversation starter because everyone likes their eggs a certain way, right?
Oh, for shizzle.
Yeah, and people are really particular about their eggs.
I've heard ways of eggs that I've never heard before on your show. Like people have mentioned weird things like was it scrambled medium?
Scrambled medium.
I was
yeah,
like, what the fuck is that, dude?
That's where they're like still
See,
runny.
They're like it's like scrambled, not scrambled soft, but not scrambled hard. And like I love eggs. It's one of my favorite things to eat, and I specifically like a runny yolk. And when I go out and I order an egg and I don't get it right, I get pretty upset sometimes, especially if I'm hungry.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
And I tell them, especially if I put an egg on a burger, I say, look, I want it over easy. Sometimes I'll even go sunny side up.
I'm a sunny side guy.
If you can't do it like that, then I don't want it. Let me know now, because I will return it.
If I'm going out, I go sunny side.
Like if I'm eating an American diner, sunny side up, because I could dip my eggs. But I was a guest on Serafina's show once, and I wanted quail eggs.
He didn't get them. Let's talk about why he didn't get them.
Too bougie.
No. Because he told me he wanted them a certain way, and then changed it the night before to quail eggs. I just can't shit out quail eggs for you. You know, I did do my due diligence. I called several stores, and I even went to this Ralph's right here that you said had them, and they did not.
All Ralphs have them in the seafood section. I just want to be clear. Serafina was unable to find them because it was a difficult object to find. I'll admit that.
Bullshit.
Feeding me is difficult. You know, getting away to a man's heart is through their stomach, and mine's complicated.
Anyway, my show is basically about, like, I invite someone over, I make them eggs, any way that they choose, and then they tell me how they liked it, if I did a good job, and then we just see where the conversation goes. Sometimes it's a real fun, non-serious conversation. Sometimes it can get serious and personal, you know.
Absolutely. There's been some really good ones. She's had some really good people down there, like for comics, musicians, strategists, you know,
actors,
important people, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just fun. And Serafina's on it too. So got that going for you.
I'm on it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, that's fun. It's an exciting show. We do another one. They're not here. It's called When Animals Attack Oddcast. Super fun too.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, it's exactly what it sounds like.
You know, though, what I like about that podcast is I don't know if anyone listens to how stuff works.
I do.
It's a really famous podcast.
Yeah.
And then they have one that's how history works or something like that, or what you missed in history.
Oh yeah,
class.
I like that one. That's a good one.
So their cadence, the stuff reminds me of what you missed in history class.
Nice.
Oh, I could see that for sure.
You know what I mean? But they're talking about vicious animal attacks. I love it.
Yeah, and they pick one animal an episode, and they get pretty specific. So I know like they've done. They'll do like one on great whites or one on specific types of dogs and you know, different types of bears, grizzly bears. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, if you like animals and you like attacks, guess what? This is two in one for you.
Yeah.
And they also always do a great like B movie recommendation. So they're both big film buffs and went to school for
I want to be a buff. I just want to be buff at something.
You want to be a
Me
buff
too.
buff?
I want you to be too. So then you can have more confidence.
What kind of buff could I be if I had to be a buff? Maybe like a specifically the 90s era skateboarding buff. Like I could tell you about anything that happened in the 90s regarding skateboarding. So if you need any of that, email me. It's right there. It's up there. artofhernandez.com, whatever.
Yeah, please, with all your dying.
Please get your skateboarding questions out here. Do you know in middle school, I did my Black History report on a skateboarder called Gershon Mosley. He was a black skateboarder. And even back then, I noticed there wasn't a lot of these guys there. He was breaking boundaries. And my history teacher, Miss Dubois, is really Du Bois, but whatever.
Dubois. She was trying to get fancy.
She was trying to get fancy.
It was
she was like, what? Why would you do this on a... What? This guy is breaking boundaries and he will kickflip over you, you dumb bitch.
Whoa.
He's clearly important. Anyways,
Wow.
Shout out to Gershon Mosley, inspirational skateboarder from the 90s, probably still alive today. I don't even know.
Classic. People shitting on skateboarding, man.
Man, when will skateboarding get the respect it deserves?
It's not, you know, they don't have any respect.
Yeah,
They get no respect. Just like women.
That's true. if you guys want to help get skateboarding respect, email us at matureadulttype.com and we're gonna get to a fundraiser going. And everyone that does will get a free one of these stickers. So enjoy that.
Now you can. You don't even have to do that. You can get a free sticker.
You're gonna get a free sticker if you email us.
Yeah, if you
that's
email
how it's
us,
gonna happen.
yeah.
And you're gonna also have to meet us somewhere to hand it to you.
Yeah, we're not gonna send. We're not gonna waste money.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
you only get one sticker.
I'll put a
too.
fucking stamp on the back of the sticker. There you go.
Here's your sticker. Yeah.
Anyways, it's a
And
good
by
sticker.
free, it's $5. Each,
$5.
To be clear, each sticker
Yeah.
is $5.
It's free for us to give to you after you was $5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's free. After you pay for it, it's free.
All right, mature adults. We've done all that housework.
We
What?
have.
I still have something. I have something to say.
Okay.
All right.
If
May-
people
may-
who are
may I give you the
watching
floor?
who are watching this right now, may have noticed a change in our decor, and that is we are now being sponsored by Sun Vista Black Beans.
Ooh, those beans are the blackest.
I don't know what happened to the other can. That's the only reason why. So
We got out of the pork and beans and we went to the black beans.
we're moving on. We're touring beans,
Dude.
and so thank you.
Hey, shout out
Sun Vista.
Shout out Sun Vista. You guys know what's up. You know how to take care of us. Also, I became a big fan of the black bean. I would go to this Cuban restaurant. It's called the Venice Bakery. I think you've been there.
Yeah, that's a great
Their
restaurant.
beans are black as fuck and delicious as hell. Shout out to Venice Bakery out there on Venice Boulevard,
Yeah.
Highway 187, near Venice and Sepulveda.
Uh,
Give me free food.
Versailles has good black beans.
Is it
as
black
well.
beans? Oh, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
That's the Cuban.
That's a
place.
hardcore Cuban.
That's where me and Andy and I used.
That's
like
Mr.
one of our
Fina.
dates. One of our date spots.
Ooh, like date night there?
Yeah, Versailles.
Oh man,
Queen.
that means Versailles must get her
Oh
horny.
my God! Look at. I just was past a glass blunt, and a silicone pipe.
Which we love the glass blunts and silicone pipes here
Yeah.
down at this podcast.
Did you? I'm not a huge fan of this yet. I'm still not sold on the silicone.
Wait till.
It doesn't hit like glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but wait till you stand up with it sitting in your lap and you watch it bounce for the first time. You're like, holy
So-
shit, that's right. I did have a pipe in my lap.
You know that happens to me often with my glass pipe. You know the one I'm talking about? It's like they call it like a dildo type thing because it's like really
You have a
thick.
dildo pipe?
Well, it's really thick.
I call
chode
my
and
natural
small.
dildo that because
It's thick and
full
small.
length. That's
But
exactly.
it's fallen on concrete and it has not broke.
Oh, that's a good pipe. You know, when it's thick enough, it's a good. But these ones, the silicone pipes, require very low. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to take care of it. You got to maintain it, of course. Everything you properly have to maintain.
yeah.
But you these are carefree. I've thrown them at my friends just because I had nothing else to throw them, and I'm Loretta's son. We throw things when we're mad here or happy.
So violent.
No, it's okay. What do you guys want to talk about? Here's some headlines. Anything interesting?
Well, today is the hearing.
Yeah, I think hearings are boring.
Not this one. This one there is tears.
Dude, it was just a man reading letters and crying. Here's the whole thing. And this letter said that I was inspirational coaching. I just
He's not going to be able to
coach him more.
He's not going to be able to coach anymore, apparently.
They're like,
But coaching was his most favorite thing to do on earth. And
Yeah.
so was being like.
I thought drinking was. I was all
It
for it
sounds
when he
like
was
drinking.
drunk.
He's like beer. And what's on the inside
He's
of
like,
his
"Can we
cheek
drink
that
beer?
he keeps
Still
licking?
do cocaine
Yeah.
bump."
What is that?
I heard he has a little satchel of cocaine he sucks on.
That makes sense. I believe that.
It keeps him awake. He's not an addict. Addicts snort it.
That's just a rumor. We're not.
That's a rumor that I
It's
heard
not
on
backed
the
up.
internet somewhere. I think it was in the dark web.
It's probably true, though.
I mean, if it's on the dark web, it has to be real.
Can you show me that it's not? Can you show me that? Can you prove to me that it's not? If he wants to come on Mature
Here
Adult Time
says it's unprovable.
and tell me that he doesn't have a satchel of cocaine in his lips at all
What's
time.
surprising to me, and you said this before we started the podcast, is he's like, I've never been blackout drunk before. First of all, who cares if you have? Being blackout drunk is not necessarily a bad thing.
That's just someone who knows how to push the limits.
That's just someone who is honest.
An explorer.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and
Plus, that means you don't have friends. When you turn 21, no one took you out.
Someone who is in that environment, who is, parties like the way he likes to. I mean, it's proof that it's there, and there's no reason to lie about it. The fact that he's lying about it is what?
Dude, I party all the time. I have hundreds and thousands of fans according to the social webs, and they all buy me drinks on my birthday. and I get blackout once.
Once a year?
No, just I've only remember being blacked
I'm sorry,
out once.
I thought we were having sensical conversation here. What are you talking about? You're just trying to get free drinks?
No, I want free drinks though. I do want that. Always trying to get free drinks. Second,
Email
I
us
just
and
can't
buy
trust
free
someone
drinks.
that hasn't blacked out. Like if you've been swimming and haven't almost drowned a little bit, I don't trust you.
Well,
Like, you need to you need to be committed. Like, have you ever ran so hard you threw up?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was weird how he said, like, she asked the question, like, has there ever been a time where you drank so much where you didn't remember all of or part of what happened, like the night before, the night you were drinking, like the next day? And he just sat there for a minute and was like, "You're talking about being blackout? Have you ever blacked out?" Like he immediately
like,
started
what?
like it was just a weird. It's
You
like
know
a weird
what?
defense.
I had a
Like
brown out earlier last week. Who cares?
That's when she pees herself, poops herself.
Stop.
Both. Like it's
I
a bird
barely
out.
remember.
I mean,
A bird out's when you shit and poop at the same time in your pants.
Okay, stop.
Look it up.
Please continue. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like you're lying, and you don't have to. You know.
Oh, he has to if he wants to get this job.
Plus, didn't he
He's
work
gonna
with
get it
Bush?
no matter what.
Didn't he work with Bush?
Mhm.
You know those two were pounding back fucking beers together.
My favorite Bush is the one in Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, he doesn't
So
say
cool.
that he says that he drinks and sometimes he has had too much, but if you've had too much, then what's the definition of that? How many is that? And he goes,
he said that it's the blood alcohol
Yeah,
content. Like
he's like, I don't know,
Whatever
you know,
the chart
whatever
says,
this
yeah.
chart
he said,
says.
yeah.
Whatever
But
the
if you
chart
don't know
says.
what the chart says, then what are you referring to then? Yourself. You know what I mean? You can't tell me right now what the chart says. It says 0.08%, right? Or some shit
you
like
guys-
that.
I think it's different by state, but I think that's the general consensus.
But yeah, but haven't you guys ever like fucked around with like friends and you had like a little mini breathalyzer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone's done that, and you can tell like if you break into like single digits, if you're not point something, you're drunk. If
Yeah.
you're one something, you're drunk.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just how it goes. It's like there's no way all these rich fucks that he hangs out with hasn't busted out a breathalyzer just to see. Like if you're a real drinker, weren't they like the drinking bros? They all threw up. They called each other Ralph or whatever.
Plus,
I drink beers. I still drink beers. I like beers. Beers.
drink beers,
I
bro.
drink beers. I drink
go to
beers.
my-
I drink beers. I drink beers. Hey, I wanted
type
to
in my
tweet.
Facebook. I
Do
want to
you
put up
think-
that.
Do you think Brett
Wait.
Kavanaugh drinks beers? I think
No.
that's the one thing we'll get out of this hearing. That's a truth from him.
Oh, yes, you.
yeah, I mean it's just like a weird it's just a weird thing to
It just
assert like that.
why are
and who
we-
cares?
There has to be a better person anyway. You know what I mean? That will still revoke the Roe versus Wade fucking bullshit that they want to do. Like, you know.
That's all about abortion,
why
right?
is it? Yeah, but why is it need to be Brett Kavanaugh? He's obviously like there's other people.
Because he was promised something. You know? You
What's
get
in it?
you get
What
promised
is it?
you get I don't know.
It's this is craziness.
Yeah. And it's
And they kept asking him about that the FBI investigation. If you're innocent like you are, saying, then why be like investigate it, and he won't say it. He won't say it, and he's just filibustering answers. Come on, dude. All right, you guys aren't talking back to me because right now it's more important to update the Facebook.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Now I just ruined it.
It was a good relevant. It was relevant. Now
You
it's
can
just
still
whatever.
do it.
No, I'm
Where's
not
your
going
phone?
to.
Do it on your phone.
Oh yeah, and then I'll just hold it up like this.
Oh, is this on behind us right now?
It was going to be. Now it's
Oh.
nothing. It's nothing. You just ruined everything.
I
See, this
didn't.
is
Look
what
here.
women do. I'm gonna take your
Wow.
microphone away.
Wow. Yeah, just cut it. Cut my mic.
Cut her
Cut the
mic.
cord.
Bruce, cut her mic.
Don't tell Bruce to cut my mic.
Bruce, you better listen to me. All right, sorry. He's
Bruce
crying
doesn't
now.
work for you. He
Bruce
works
works
for
for
all of
us.
us.
guys, don't make Bruce cry, okay?
Hey, I'm the me and us, okay? Wait, that's not. All right, Bruce, shut up.
Bruce, stop crying.
Dude, if he doesn't
you're
stop,
supposed-
I'm gonna start calling him Kavanaugh from now on if he doesn't stop.
Yeah,
crying.
I know for sure. Bruce Kavanaugh.
He's like, I was gonna pull it up. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's just sad, and I don't. If this is a part of the job interview process, I think I wouldn't want that job.
I mean, if at some point I think he should be saying, you know what, it's not worth it putting my family through this and all this stuff. Like I take my name out of Like, why would it?
But he said he wouldn't do that.
He said his family was destroyed.
Yeah, his family's been destroyed. My family has been destroyed by this.
Meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, that never
Good Eric
happened.
got emotional.
Because that's what he looks like.
Jesus,
I like that. Good Eric.
Gotta get this guy a diaper.
Do it.
Whatever that means.
Do it in the camera.
Yeah, point at it.
He's fucking crazy. His family's destroyed. Well, what about? And they're being very careful not to say that she's lying or she's wrong. It's just she's confused, and it was sure something happened to her, but it just Brett didn't do it.
And I like how there's two guys that are coming forward. Like, isn't there two guys that are coming forward now to say that it was them? It wasn't Brett Kavanaugh. And
this
fools
other guy are just jumping on
like
rape grenades.
They're like just like what do you have to get in return for jumping on Brett Kavanaugh's
paid.
rape grenade?
Yeah.
Like, how much money does it cost for that one?
I don't know. I'm sure we could find out.
They're confusing him with me.
It was me. It's like probably someone with a sick kid who needs an operation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
She said she's 100% sure, and there's no reason why this woman would want to come. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
I got that. Yeah.
And did you listen to the hearing in the beginning?
I listened to a bit this morning. I had to do some work, but I did listen. I tried to listen as much as I could.
When it started, what's his name? It's what's his like? The Republican one, Glass.
Oh my God, I'm the Republican one. What are you talking about?
But he was like, he listed off Kavanaugh's all his credentials and what he's done, right? And then when Feinstein,
how many teams was he coached?
When Feinstein took,
I was so curious.
When it was her turn to speak,
I want to know how many championships he's got.
She was like, "Well, let me introduce
this motherfucker
what's her,
Dr. Ford.
Dr. Ford, and what she's done and what her thing is, and listed it all out, which is way more substantial than Kavanaugh. But then the first guy who talked was like, it's just like a high school was like, just so we're clear, I was going to introduce her before she was going to speak. It's like, why are you introducing Kavanaugh? Like, what even if you were, do you need to really assert yourself in that moment? No, like.
Yeah, dude's manspreading all over the situation.
Because the hearing is there for Dr. Ford, and you first are talking about like she's going to be talking about Kavanaugh. This is his shit.
I was telling Eric while we were watching it this morning, I was like, she should be in the room. Like, I just feel like anyone who's like doing this, like being accused or accused, you should be able to face your accuser or the accusee. Like, you guys should be there. I'd like to see that body language. I'd like to see that language.
She might not.
She said she felt she's in danger, but yeah. I'm like, fool. The smartest thing you do is be in the light. Then
and talk about ruining. Talk about ruining. She's had to move twice.
Like, look at this doctor from Stanford in the eyes and say, "You're lying to me."
Yeah.
Or look her in the eyes and say, "I didn't do it. Quit lying." Like, I would do that. Like, if you accuse me of this shit, I will be like, all right, let's get together. You could have bodyguards, whatever, and just be like, tell me to my face. Like, really, look me in the eye and fucking admit it. Like, I would like to see shit like that, but I guess that doesn't work. Can I ask you this?
If you were accused, would you want a full-on investigation of it?
Fuck yeah.
If you were innocent?
Yes. I'd be like, show me my semen.
Sense, right?
You know I leave semen everywhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
which means it's probably easy to find now I think about it.
Stop spreading your semen.
Oh, good, you found my semen. What were you anywhere?
Or that's
were you in
maybe
the
your
Delta
plan.
bathroom?
Just be known of just like throwing your
83?
semen on walls, so it's always gonna be.
I don't throw it; it just gets shot that far. I've hit walls several times.
Okay.
Got a great cannon. Semen cannon.
There we go. The other thing that gets me is this fucker's got a calendar that's older than I am. Like, he has a calendar from 1982 that he just carries. He just got it like at his house. That he also goes back and cross things out. Like, he was like, oh nope, didn't do powerlifting that day. Like, didn't end up going here that day. So he crosses things out on his calendar.
That doesn't make sense.
Like, all right, if he does that, and I'm not saying that he doesn't, why don't they just say, hey, give me your calendar from January of 1996. What is your calendar for January of 1996? If it looks the same and you're crossing shit out, then maybe you actually do keep your calendar like some kind of fucking freak.
Wow, Eric, that's a great question, and that's a great thought. And you know what? Who can find that out and investigate that and see if that exists?
Who?
The FBI.
No, I heard those guys are fake.
They don't exist. The FBI is
no, but they should.
No, they are fake.
They should be. They should be some some bureau that investigates things on a federal level. That would be smart. Maybe they could start it.
Yeah.
Trump could start it and call it Government
Space
Force.
Government force.
Mystery Force. We are going to enforce all the mysteries. Okay? Better than Scooby. The dog is only half as smart as me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Is this thing on?
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, it is.
The mystery machine.
What else is going on besides this craziness?
Well, we're approaching 1 year of doing this. That's pretty cool.
That's,
Time flies when you're having fun, folks.
We'll probably have a party sometime before October that everyone will know about, but when and where will be secret.
October? October is in like
I meant
3
Halloween,
days.
before Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Please clarify.
I just consider October Halloween. Yeah, in my mind, I don't see the difference. They're already selling the candy. The costume's already out. The Jell-O is wiggling. The eggs are cooling in the fridge. Time to shut this door. Those are things people say.
Man, think about and have so many eggs. All these little baby chickens. Be like a mischief night dream.
What?
Those
Because you gotta throw
baby
them?
chickens.
You guys call
No,
it
we
Mischief
gotta
Night.
eat the
That's what
eggs.
threw me off.
Wait,
Yeah.
what's Mischief Night?
Mischief Night, some weird Midwest things. You guys have Devil's Night and Mischief Night,
Yeah.
right? And
I do
probably
like-
What is
Boxing
that?
Day.
No, we don't do
Boxing Day is
It's like
something else.
It's like the night before Halloween or the night.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the night before Halloween where basically kids just go out and like egg cars, like they like TP shit. Like it's just getting into little mischief, you know?
Mhm.
Being little Kavanaughs,
Yeah.
getting drunk,
Yeah, just-
drinking beers with your friends.
Yeah, just lots of beers. There's lots of beers, you know.
My
Like
friends
beers.
and I
like beer now. I
Sexually
like beer
assaulting
then.
people.
See, me and my friends,
That's
we
not
would
part of my mischief.
we would do shit after Halloween, like you know, like trick or treating's done at like 8:30 or 9. Then like adults start to just get drunk and shit. That's when we'd go out and like smash pumpkins, blow up dry
Why would
ice,
you
burn
smash
bombs.
Pumpkins.
Because
They're
they're
little
gonna.
baby pumpkin
I don't know. It was just fun.
kittens.
There's something about being a kid and throwing a pumpkin and watching it blow up. Like I used
fun.
to,
It
I
is
used to
fun.
shoot them like basketballs at stop signs and see if they'd get stopped, like sliced in there. I don't know. When I was a kid, breaking things was fun. I don't know why. I apologize
When you were
publicly
a
now
kid,
to
what,
everyone.
50 years ago.
Everyone that a pumpkin I smashed.
How many pumpkins do you think you've smashed?
Thousands.
Thousands.
100% thousands.
Don't think so.
You're very
100%
confident about that.
100%
Oh, yeah.
thousands.
I got
With your
Oh.
own hands,
I
like
got
not just out
hundreds.
with your
Oh.
friends.
Yes,
How
I got
many
well,
years?
not mostly with my feet because I would stomp a lot of pumpkins too, dude. I've gone to Patches and just destroyed it. I would probably get 100 easily on a Halloween night. Remember, I grew up in Los Angeles, hundreds of houses, 2 pumpkins, 4 pumpkins, 8 pumpkins a house sometimes, dude.
So for
I would-
10 years, you got 100 pumpkins a year.
Probably. I don't know when I started doing. Let's see. If Mischief Art probably started going on 8 or 9. I'm going out.
Probably, yeah.
And then I'm probably doing it, till I'm like 40. So, I haven't even stopped yet. Sorry to everyone whose pumpkins I'm gonna smash. Protect them. I don't know.
Are you
You
excited?
better not smash my pumpkin.
So you grew up in Northern California.
Yeah.
What would you guys do for what's a NorCal Halloween like? And then we'll get to yours.
I'd carve pumpkins. I would go trick-or-treating. And then when I got older, I would go to a party.
But you're part of the where you live.
We would trick-or-treat and then party.
Was it like what was the neighborhoods like?
So I grew up in Davis, California. So we would sometimes go up to El Macero, which is the city kind of within the city, because they were known to have like full-size candy bars. They're the rich kids up there. They have their
so
own
you were
zip
those
code
people that
and-
go to the good neighborhoods to get
But
candy?
it
That's
was
smart.
but it was like on my side of town. Like it was
for sure.
like right there.
No, I grew up listening. I grew up listening to people in Los Angeles complain. Then all these fucking Mexicans bring in their kids to get the good. Like, well, quit giving good candy. You like, what are you complaining about?
And
Yeah.
who cares who you're giving your candy?
children.
I'm
And, like,
how
like
can
a
you tell they're
Mexican
Mexican?
kid, a fucking
They're
white
wearing
kid. Who
costumes.
cares? It's just
Yeah,
kids.
they're
It's
kids.
Halloween. Give your candy to kids. And if you don't
Yeah.
want to, then don't fucking give out candy.
Put up a "I'm Jewish" sign or whatever.
My brother once, he was getting. You know how sometimes they don't have,
Sorry, Bruce.
they
edit
just
that
have
out.
like a, Bruce.
Keep it in.
They have like a basket of candy and it says "take one,"
Uh-huh.
and so my brother went up and all the candy was gone, so he just took the basket.
Peter Fina.
Yeah.
He took the hey, this place giving out baskets one at a
He's
time.
like, okay, well, whatever. I'm
Dude.
getting something.
Yeah, there was I was never
El
at least.
Macero
I
was
wasn't
like
really
a
that
golf
kind of
course.
asshole.
There's
though.
a golf course in the center of El Macero.
So you had to walk across a golf course.
No, but it would be fun to run across it. We did.
No alligators.
No alligators. This is Northern California.
I just thought they liked to be in golf courses.
Yeah, I thought you brought them
You
in.
just
You
thought
brought
they
'em
were
in?
fans.
You just bring them in. No, it makes it's part of the game.
Yeah, doesn't that make the it probably makes the membership dues or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yeah, you can't be a part of the
Your club fees have
PGA
gotta
if
go
you
up.
don't have alligators. The
Yeah.
A is for alligators. The G is for gators.
Yeah.
And the P is play with. Play with gators, allies. Gators. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
Play with what? Play
just-
with gators, alligators.
Play with gators, alligators. I didn't say it was smart. Golf isn't smart. Why would their name be smart? Play
Help
with
me.
play
Someone
with
help
gators,
me.
alligators. Ugh.
So after that enthralling conversation about,
Okay, so Halloween in the Northern
do
California
you
sounds boring.
do you know what? Fuck you. It was.
What? It sounds
Do you know? Well, when I got into college, we went to Santa Barbara, and it was fun.
I'm talking about hometown.
But what are you gonna be for Halloween this year? Do you know? Are you dressing up?
Well, I'll probably do multiple costumes, because I like to dress
Fancy.
up every night and scare people. I'll probably start off with clowns week 1, and then move to nuns. About 3s, I'll do nun clowns, and then week
So
4.
my question's being filibustered right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling. No,
Filibustered.
I don't.
Filibustered.
I really, I've thought about it, but not enough. Like these are like throughout the year, I go, oh, that'd be fun, and then I never follow up on it, or any, So I don't know. I have a girlfriend, so she'll probably dictate any of that.
You guys should be peanut butter and jelly.
How about like Popeye and olive oil?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll make a good
Except
olive
you
oil.
don't
you would
have-
make a good olive.
I'd
oil.
make
you
a
would
great
make a
olive
good
oil.
olive oil. I'm gonna be Slash. Did I say this already?
Wait, from GSR, GNR?
No, what
Yeah.
was his Slash in the what was his band called?
He had his own band.
Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but he
LA
has-
Guns.
Was it the L.A. Guns?
It was the
Yeah.
LA. Wasn't the Hollywood Roses and the LA Guns made Guns N' Roses?
Oh,
They combined.
That I don't know. That would be complete
Hey,
news
look
to me.
Here, look that up. That's I think.
But it
that's
was
real.
like I thought it was like slashing the snakes or slashing like it was slashing something else. It was
No,
it was like
is that
after.
real?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I love how you could put in just one word slash. That means lots of things,
Yeah.
and he comes up.
He's number one.
That's how you fucking rule, dude.
Hell yeah.
He used to be on a cartoon I used to watch called Kid Notorious about
I've never heard
about
of
Robert.
I always loved
Robert
Slash.
Evans. Yeah, he was his neighbor. Slash was like cool as fuck.
Yeah, he's hella cool. Just like me. So I'm gonna be Slash, and Andy's gonna be Axl Rose. Look up Axl Rose. Put Axl Rose behind us, because there's the old Axl Rose. Put like Axl Rose old versus young,
Is Andy gonna
so
be
you
the old
can
one?
see it. Well, let's talk about
I
it.
don't need a beer. Just put in Axel. I have the mouse. You have to keep.
Axl old and versus young. Yeah, because
Alright,
when
let's
he
see
was
what's
young,
going
he
on
was
here.
like, all right, and now he's like, look
Ooh.
at that, he's bloated. Look at that.
There he be.
Put it up. Put
I
it
don't even
big.
think I don't think it's the same person.
He looks kind of the older version of Axl Rose. Kind of looks like Meatloaf.
That does look like Meatloaf. I thought that was Axel and Meatloaf. I mean, you can't get mad at a guy for just aging.
Letting it go.
Women age all the time, way more
Oh my
noticeably,
God.
and we never
Do
say
the one
anything.
up there in the right corner.
This one, that's totally
Axl.
Meatloaf.
No, that's Axl, baby.
That looks like someone who wants to fight Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan's like, "You got to get bigger, brother. you're just not a name for me."
So go down the one next to Billy Corgan. Right. The one, no, to the right. Yeah, that one. So that's right before he let it all go. When remember he had cornrows?
Yeah. Is that the one Andy's gonna go for?
I think
Please go
I
for
kind
cornrows,
of want.
Andy.
I really think you should go for cornrows.
I think
that
you
would be
should.
the best.
Cornrows, Axl Rose, and then or he could be. I don't know.
So if
Oh.
you're listening and you care, message us and tell me what you think. What version of Axl Rose Andy should go as?
I think you should go as Kid Rock.
Slash is the same. He's just awesome.
The best version of Axl Rose
is Kid Rock.
is Kid Rock.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
I did see Guns N' Roses when they came. They played Dodger Stadium. It was my first time at Dodger Stadium. a couple
how
years
was
ago.
it?
Was for a
2 years
concert,
ago?
not even a
Heard-
baseball game.
Yeah, not even a baseball game. It was for that show. They were really good. Like
Did
Well, Slash
did
is
Axl
amazing.
sound good?
he sounded good. Yeah,
There's ways around that too, especially with the money they're making. They can play backtracks that he can just sing to, and he can just have a live amp mic whenever.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of breaks for him. Like I think
Did he run around the stage like
he ran around a lot? Yeah, but he like took a break in between every song, and I like changed his shirt
how Missy Elliott
or changed
was.
his hat, and they would. I mean, it's kind of weird.
That's
like,
kind of showmanship.
Every song there was a break.
Yeah, I mean
like
it was fine.
A couple-minute break.
Missy Elliott got super skinny, like almost like a creepy skinny. You remember her?
Like Jonah Hill?
I mean,
skinny?
I remember. I don't remember her skinny though.
She's now currently skinny. She's one of the skinniest people like on the planet. Like creepy Al Roker, Missy Elliott, fat to skinny. Someone has to have looked that up. Yeah, look at that. She was a one size. Look at that.
That, but actual.
How do I do that?
I think
No,
you
it
click
that
on
just
it.
takes you to a website usually. Let's see. Yeah, it just brings me to
There's just more pictures.
more
More-
Missy.
He just like went like one step down the rabbit hole further into Missy
Yeah, but
Elliott.
look
She
at her
looks
right
good.
here. She looks so skinny.
Yeah.
But then look how big she was.
Good for
Yeah,
her.
people could change. What's the complaint here, Art?
There's no complaint. I think that's the
Are you
biggest
saying good job?
transformation. I'm just saying,
What are
wow.
you saying?
I mean, you live your life fat or skinny. I don't care, but I'm just saying that's a big difference. That's a huge look at from right here to right there. See, like right where the
is a big
bong's kind of
difference.
covering it. Yeah, you went from like Beyonce's friend to Beyonce. That's dope. I don't know. It's just that I think it's the biggest transformation I've seen. I'm not saying it's good or bad, because I liked original Missy Elliott. There's nothing wrong with her.
And you hate the new one?
Never met her.
Well,
It's your
powerful stuff.
yep.
Pow-
You know what that is?
Powerful stuff. Yeah, I know.
What is she saying?
The song.
I know, but what is she saying?
What you just said.
Yeah, but it's a reverse of a word of a phrase.
What?
I believe the phrase is can you feel the pussy's getting wet yet? And I believe it's that. Can you feel the pussy's getting wet? Yet? Something like that. Because the records wouldn't let her play that, so she did it reversed.
Wet backwards.
And it
is
sounded cool.
Twa.
Yeah, but when you're singing shit,
Toe.
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. I mean, it could be wrong.
Well, we can find it out.
Yeah, here, put up Missy Elliott lyrics or whatever, if you don't mind.
Backwards lyrics.
Yeah, backward lyrics. Everyone knows it's like a famous song.
You're a famous song.
I am a famous song.
Called. If you were a song, Art, what would you be called?
A ballad of Art Hernandez.
Just a ballad.
Yeah, just be a ballad. It'd probably be a romantic song. I
would
got
call
laid a
it-
lot.
I would call it Barnyard Full of Poop.
See,
We can't even read
how
it.
do I zoom into this bit?
We're just figuring out the internet now, folks.
What's the internet?
What about that one on the bottom? That's the
You're
song.
in images, by the way. You can.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. Let's see. Is your pussy getting wet yet? I don't know. Let me see.
You don't have to go to images. What I'm saying, go to a real website and you'll see.
That's in Spanish, dude.
Yeah.
I put my.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a pussy's getting wet yet. Are the pussies getting wet yet?
Wow, we squashed that.
No, it's still open for debate.
Can you do me a
The
favor?
internet's
Go up to the
clearly
top
wrong.
and unclick the images and click all. There. Whoa, there we go. It's your premonition right now.
Know what it says?
That's what I think it says. It just came to me.
All right, I believe it. Fuck it. All right. Hi, America.
America.
Well, I still wish she was fat.
What?
That's right.
She's healthy.
Good. Be healthy all you want. No one's saying
You
not be
nonsense.
healthy.
You talk so much nonsense sometimes. You're like, I can't.
Mhm.
You can't disagree with that.
No, I'm the bad guy of the show. Woo!
Oh no, he's all nighting it.
Shut up, libtards. Woo! I like my Missy
All
Elliott's
night?
fat.
You know how on the top of the fish tank it says all night?
Mm-hmm.
How long has that shit been there? Years,
Forever.
right?
Yeah, bricks.
Forever.
Hey, I guess she's talking about the cinema bar where we both host open mics. So on Wednesday you could get there, and on Monday nights you could go check it out. See that fish tank.
Wednesday at 6. Monday 11:30. So that fish tank on top of it says all night, and you know Felicia, she just noticed it this Wednesday. What?
Well, it's good. You know, we got to be aware of your surroundings. She's only
like,
been hanging out there
"Oh,
for
like,
2 years.
For fucking years, more than 2 years.
At least.
3 years.
At least.
But that's been there, right? I just had to double check.
Yeah,
Make
it's
sure
been there
I'm
for a
not
while.
tripping.
It's like on a painted piece of wood.
Yeah, it says all night.
Yeah, that's always been there.
All night long. All night. All night. There's lots of songs that say all night in it.
100%.
Yeah.
Can you name 3?
Yeah. That one I was just singing.
Which is okay.
And then the one that you put on at the cinema bar.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's that?
Oh, it's going to take me a minute to think about it.
Is it Spill the Wine?
All night. It says all night in it. So
A lot of songs say Spill the Wine, he says all night. But look up songs that say all night.
All night long.
All night.
All
So let me
night.
do that.
All night. All night long. All night.
Songs that have all night.
All night long.
All night long is just too long.
Can you?
No.
Is all night long too long?
Lyrics containing terms all.
How about all
night?
day? Is all day too long? Is it all that's too long? Is it the time of day that's too long? Is this podcast going on too long?
No, it's only gonna get longer.
It's only gonna get longer, folks.
There's a lot of songs with all night in it.
A lot of too many. We you know, I'm over this shit. What'd you guys think about all that government stuff? I'm always confused about it myself.
I really think that the FBI needs to do an investigation on it, and I also think that there's a lot of other stuff going on that we need to talk about, and I just think it's all fucking fucked. We
It's all
gotta
fucking
vote.
fucked.
That's what I think.
You gotta vote?
Vote.
For what? I don't think you should blindly vote. In fact, if you
No, I think you
everyone
need
should
to. I
not
think
vote.
that's.
See what happens.
I think everyone needs to educate themselves and be like more
Education's stupid
around
people.
in what's going on locally too. You know, like now that I was a part of my little Pickfair village where I lived off Fairfax, and now that I live in El Sereno, like I'm starting to get involved in knowing what's going on in my community and making sure that what's directly around me is
Safe.
yeah, and is like going in towards the direction that I want, like with social stuff and
She's running
that
the
stuff.
neighborhood,
So
folks.
you signed up for Nextdoor? You
I
signed up for Nextdoor and just
I was
complain
gonna
about every delivery driver that
Dude,
drives down your
Nextdoor,
street?
I love Nextdoor. It's so hilarious.
Right. What's next door? I have no idea.
So it says,
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I found out about it because I saw the CEO give a speech at like an advertising conference a couple of years ago. But it's an app where you have to verify your address, and it's a social media website that kind of works like Facebook in a lot of ways, but you have to verify your address, and it's by neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's like you can be like, oh, does anyone know? Did anyone see that accident on the corner of yada yada? Or has anyone, someone has been stealing packages off my door? But and you can like ask questions, and it's basically just like an open forum that's supposed to be trying to get to know your neighbors in like a digital
It's for
world.
spying on each other.
Yes, it's for spying on each other.
And,
I joined-
it's also for like if you have a yard sale or whatever. But in my neighborhood, there was a
that's
shooting.
what signs are for. You just put signs up. For
There
that
was a
shit.
shooting at
Oh,
the
no.
and the person died.
Oh yeah, the
That was
shooter
working
or
at
the shootee.
The person who was working at the gas station.
Oh no.
Shut the fuck up, Art. Someone died, and you're being sarcastic.
That's how I react when I hear about murder.
You're fucking full of shit.
No.
Anyway, so I found out about that on there. I mean, it's useful.
I was
but
sad, but not anymore.
Was signed up by my house, and then I moved, or my apartment, and from my house I have to re-verify, and none of my shit's working for them to re-verify.
Oh yeah, I to turn it off. I mean, I don't think I deleted my account because I probably couldn't. But
How do you verify it?
I stopped notifications, and you can select specific ones. So if it has to do with safety, then I think I get a notification. I don't really see.
I think it's a piece of mail. Like you do it through either a piece of mail or
they call you
or a bill. Like I can't remember exactly. It was a while ago that I signed up.
Phone bill or credit card bill.
I did sign up because it sounded like an interesting idea, and
you first told me about it actually.
Oh yeah,
at the cinema.
Bunch of narcs.
But yeah, it turned aggressively racist, like very, very quickly. At least in the neighborhood I was in. In
Culver City.
Good old Culver City.
But are you anonymously? Are you posting anonymously, or like? Do they know it's you?
You have a username, and I think you can choose to. It doesn't display your address, so it's not like this fucker lives here. Which maybe it should, because then that would be like a little bit more, Every lady that's getting on there being like, I don't understand why there's so many Mexicans walking around my neighborhood. It'd be like, oh, well, that's that bitch's house.
Wow, people are really saying that on there?
Well, because you're in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Your fucking city is Spanish. It's in Spanish.
What I liked about mine in the Fairfax neighborhood that I was in, Pickfair Village, is people were complaining around the 4th of July about fireworks.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of fireworks. Yeah.
And like, just the people would be like, help me catch these firework bandits.
I know, that was the
and
best.
I just loved reading that because it's like, chill the fuck out.
Can we pull up some of these reviews and look at them? They sound hilarious.
No, I can't on mine. I'm locked out of mine right now. But it's like they're just like trying it, like their lives are all involved in trying to catch who is letting off fireworks. It's like, bitch, make sure the education, like buy someone a book,
Yeah,
care about something.
Well, it's
that who cares? It's a firework.
I think. I would see a bunch of people. I mean, there were trolls on there too that would definitely
incite.
Incite, and also
no address is showing or anything, right?
No, and this is my old neighborhood.
Okay, so transition us into there so like everyone else can see this too.
Take that.
And get 2 mice in here.
Yeah.
2 mice. I'm a mice. I'm a meese. I'm a mouse. I'm a host.
Okay, so let's see what are these fools saying.
Sorry, I apologize for that.
Yeah, so I mean, you can post things like private music lessons. They've like found dogs,
shit on my stuff.
Items for sale. But then there's also like, this is like a different layout because I usually did it on my phone.
Where's the mean shit?
You just have to find like there'll be like questions. Let's see.
Crime.
Yeah, let's go to crime and safety. Yeah, see, sketchy guy biking up and down Berryman. Like they're the third or the second one down.
I wonder how many of these are just fucking Todd.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like, oh, there's a sketchy guy biking. It's
if
like,
it is, then that's true. That's truly a thing because he is a sketchy guy biking up and down the street.
Right now,
that's
it's full screened on
accurate report. But so on mine, it was like people are being broken into or almost being broken into. I was like, damn, this is a bad neighborhood. It's supposed to be nice.
So I mean, this one's
That's why you gotta protect yourself with guns. Everyone should arm themselves. And be able to protect themselves and use it safely. And what you want to do is be able to hide it. So you get a couple of cards. I always have 2 guns on me at any time.
You do. Your arms. You're
so you can
strong.
give up one. You go.
You're talking about your arms and those guns.
Yes.
Those are his 2 guns. You got tickets to Art's gun show? I hope not.
I have 4 guns on me at all times.
Yeah, so I mean, they just do
cat screaming.
Yeah, cat screaming.
Coyote sighting. All right, maybe some of this could be useful.
My son and I were just woken up at 2 a.m. to a cat yelling. It's like every
It's like
night.
shut up.
Yeah, it's like that's a cat. It's a cat outside. Like I don't know. It doesn't need to be. And there's.
It don't bother me.
I'd love it that if it's some like cat impressionist out there just rehearsing, just doing this.
So it is a valid complaint.
That's Los Angeles.
It's just an actor. Like they just got done with their they got done with their second job and they're auditioning for Cats next month and you're fucking with them, complaining about them screeching at night. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But it's like that's a weird thing to me to come to complain on the internet and start like But yeah, I completely forgot about the 4th of July ones. Those ones were always funny.
Those are so
like
funny.
they were so great.
Well, over here, around here,
Like
Help
why
me
can't they catch these
bandits.
criminals? What I spoke to police liaison officer, blah blah blah, like, and I let them know that I would be calling every day until this gets solved. It's like, oh, until fireworks get solved? Like,
I
what are
wonder
you
if she's
solving?
still calling.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
what
I
are
hope
you
she is.
doing?
I hope she's sticking to her word. I can't remember who it was. I think her name was probably Linda, but
Fucking
Pass me
Linda.
that tray. Yeah, fuck Linda.
I've only known
Linda.
like 3 cool Lindas, and you know who you are.
Linda.
But anyways, yeah, it's so you
Sorry.
haven't signed up for Nextdoor at your new place yet. So how are
I
you
tried
getting
to.
involved?
No, I tried to. But I'm waiting for the verification. So I don't know, once I do that, I'm gonna like go on there and see. And then there's a community garden. There's 2. There's one at a school, middle school. I don't know if you have to be like going there to be involved in that. But then there's one a little bit down the road that I'm gonna try to get involved in. And we're gonna start doing vermicompost with worms in our backyard. So then I can share that with the gardening community. I don't know, to start getting to know the people around me.
Do you see yourself ever running for city council?
Mm,
Is there ever going to
not
be
at the moment.
a FINA on the ballot?
Maybe if I maybe run Fino.
What if your
We'll
community wrote you in? Would you answer the call?
Everyone write in
Just wrote me
Serafina
in.
for
Right in
comptroller of
Of
Saleno or whatever.
El Sereno.
El
no, write me
Sereno.
in.
El Saleno.
By the way, thanks Art for driving me home last night.
Yep, no problem.
We went to this really fun mic
The Clown House.
at the Clown
Adam
House
Bernhardt's
downtown.
Clown House.
Do they have clowns like in this?
Dude, it's all over. I have
Oh, did
pictures
they
and
have
shit everywhere.
clowns?
Yeah. You guys could look it up on it.
I
Here, actually,
was
put it-
doing
put
my
it right here.
set and
Let's Google
I
it.
kept looking at the
Put up Adam
The
Bernhardt's
seat?
Clown House. I think the
As if,
address
like,
was
I had notes there?
344 Pico, West Pico. That was, if I remember.
and
see.
it's crazy.
Let's see. Adam Bernhard. That is.
The seat had like a clown face on it, and it just kept looking at me. And there's a Ronald McDonald section.
Dude,
Oh, there's a
there's
whole
like
section.
clowns.
Dude, the whole building is
everywhere,
there's clowns like statues
covered in clowns.
hanging from the ceilings and all over,
tell
and
you
they're
this,
tucked in, and there's
You gotta be comfortable with clowns to be in that room.
And
Not even indifferent to clowns. You gotta be comfortable with them.
Is it only a show space? Like you guys were there for
Yeah, it's a
like,
show
that-
space.
I have
That's it.
no idea
Like,
what
it's
that
like an
space
artist
was.
space, dude. Like
I
that's
feel
it.
like at any moment one of the clowns is gonna come alive and just take me.
All of
Ooh,
them.
that would be fun.
All of them, and it'd be the scariest thing
All
on
of
the
them at
planet.
once.
And there's like pictures of
Oh,
them and
man.
paintings of clowns and everything. Like there's like in the bathroom. There's this huge painting of kind of Mark Twain, but he looks kind of like a clown.
Oh my God.
It looks like like Adam Bernhardt.
I
Not,
shoulda went to the
you
bathroom.
have the most incredible clown collection I've ever walked into. It's truly impressive, and like you really just have to go there and see it. And if you're gonna go, you might as well go Wednesday nights at like 10 o'clock, 8:30. Is it 9 to 10 or something like that?
So yeah,
Get
the
there.
time I think
All
it
of those
starts
times.
at 8.
Yeah. But anyways, like that place is a fucking trip, man. I have lots of pictures. I'll send them and put them up on the Instagram. You guys could check that out at what is it again? Mature adult.
Mature adult time.
Yeah.
Dot Instagram.
Yeah, you guys can go see all that shit.
Mhm.
Well, nice. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Did you ever find that resume?
I did. Yes.
Resume.
Oh, awesome.
I did.
Yeah, that
I
way
did.
'cause this is gonna give us a good chance because like there's a lot of political shit happening and we don't know real dick about it. At least I don't. But we talked to someone who did.
Who?
Yeah, we don't know a lot, but yeah.
Well,
Who did you
Eric-
talk to?
Or this it's a consultant secret. No, Summer Gary. Like he'll
Yeah, so
Listen
we
here.
talked about
Trying
about a
to.
week or
You keep
just
interrupting.
over a week ago. Art and I sat down and talked with one of his friends, Summer Gary, and friend of the podcast. And I'm just you guys are going to hear that interview after this, but I just wanted to give you guys a bio real quick. So Summer Gary was most recently an intern for the Conventional Arms Branch of the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs, where her work focused primarily on global efforts to prevent the illicit trade of small arms and light weapons. Her other academic and professional interests include U.S.-Russia relations, strategic defense, human rights issues, and global governance. She holds an MA in Nonproliferation and Terrorism Studies from the Middlebury Institute of International Studies, an MA in Global Security, WMD Nonproliferation, and the International Nuclear Security Regime from the Moscow State Institute of International Relations, and a BA in Political Science from the University of California, Berkeley. She is a very accomplished woman, and it was a very interesting conversation.
I can't believe someone as young as her could have done all that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not just like Jesus Christ. It was a very interesting conversation. She was very intelligent and very insightful on a lot of things, and her kind of expertise and background in Russian studies, turns out to be very relevant today. So
yeah, it was very fun. Very fun.
I'm looking forward to hearing it. Are we listening to it now?
Yeah, let's throw to it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So listen to this, and if you have any questions, hit us up. Podcast@matureadulttime.com.
Message us, fools.
Okay. So he was the head of the former KGB, or was it the KGB when he was the head of it?
It wasn't the KGB anymore when he was the head of it, and then I don't know. Yeltsin had plenty of problems. And at the time he decided to step down, Putin was already like a prime minister or something, and he just handed the reins to him. And I think that would be the greatest mystery to solve, is why him? Because it makes no sense. Nobody knew he was going to be the way he is or that it would actually work out. So I think that's the biggest mystery of all.
And this took place in the mid-90s? Like, this was definitely after the wall fell?
Yeah, Putin became prime minister, I think, in 98 or 99, and succeeded Yeltsin in 99, and then won his first election in 2000.
Okay.
So he's been around a while.
Very interesting. Where did you kind of first start schooling in here? Like, did you start in Russia, or what kind of brought you to Russia for your schooling, or to continue your education there?
Well, it had been like a long time goal. I think when I even started college at like community college, that was kind of where I wanted to end up, at least for a while. And what's funny is, like, when I started community college back in 2012, everyone's like, "Why are you so interested in Russia? Why are you learning Russian?" Like, that's irrelevant. The Cold War's over. Learn Arabic and study terrorism. And then things happen, and I'm like, yeah, told you.
Well, what things happened?
Well, there was the invasion of Crimea. I think it was the main turning point.
And that
when people were like, oh, shit.
And that took place under Obama, was that?
Yeah, 2014.
2014, okay. And so what, for anyone who's kind of not aware, and even to kind of probably refresh my memory at least, but what do you think Putin was trying to accomplish by going after Crimea?
Well, that's actually a really long, complicated answer, but like the short of it is that there are certain countries that border Russia that were always sort of treated like special territory, former property of Russia, like Ukraine and Georgia, that were leaning more towards joining the West and specifically trying to join NATO. And obviously that would be a problem for Russia to have NATO up on their borders even more than they already are, and have these allies sort of get taken away from them. And so when there started to be those massive protests in Ukraine, I think Russia saw a pretty good opening. And what happened was they sort of legitimized the invasion of Crimea by the fact that they did have a vote by the people of Crimea who voted like 90-something% to join Russia instead of Ukraine.
Well, it sounds like it was democratic. Why is everyone so angry?
I have a hard time with that one too, because I mean, like, if that's what the people want.
Was there, like, is there, is there belief that there was like widespread fraud in that election, or is this just this the election didn't go the way that we wanted, and we don't have an electoral college to fall back on?
Yeah, I think the election was pretty damn legitimate, and I think the reason that there's a lot of upset is because it's sort of technically a violation of international law when you look at it a certain way, because it violates Ukraine's sovereignty, and Russia sort of just took over without consulting the international community, which is kind of silly, but at the same time, it's a solid precedent that's been around since World War II. So it scared people.
So the issue was that they had that election? That really bothered people, or was
more that Russia honored it and just said, "This is ours now"?
Oh man, that's a pretty gangster move.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think so. Like if someone's like, "Well, we want you to be in charge," and you're like, "All right, it's mine now."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a bold move. And that's when everyone started worrying about Putin, when he did that.
I think a lot more people started to worry. I think there were plenty of people who were worried for a long time, because in 2008, Russian troops invaded Georgia.
Now, is that where Bin Laden's from, or where he lived, where he did his stuff?
Yeah.
What does this all mean?
It means Russia sort of is trying to get its big power status back, like it had when it was the Soviet Union. It misses that glory, it misses the respect from the world, and this is its way of trying to get it back without causing direct confrontation with the West.
Now, what do you think's going to happen?
Oh shit, that's a good question. I don't know. It's hard to say, because it's hard to say what the U.S. is going to do at this point.
How do you think the U.S. has been handling it?
I think the U.S. is prior to the current administration, there's been a lot of bark but no bite. And the current administration, I feel like, is probably reluctant to do anything at all, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But I think the real concern would actually be China, not Russia.
What are they doing? And when I mean they, I mean them as a country, not as a people.
Right. Their economic power is unprecedented. They're building up their military. I mean, I don't think they're as bold as far as what they do as Russia, but the United States and most of the world would be in big trouble if China suddenly decided to stop trading with them. So that's a major thing to take into consideration with China, is they don't necessarily have the sort of military might, although they are pretty powerful, but they do have this sort of economic clout that nobody else really does at this point.
Damn. So the only way for U.S. to be safe is if we bomb all of China's factories, right?
Oh, exactly. All of China, all of Russia.
Well, what does Russia produce besides terror?
Oh, oil.
They have oil. Okay. Well, that's good. That's power. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they a lot of Europe gets its oil from Russia.
Oh, interesting.
So that's another layer to not attacking Russia over their bullshit.
Now, do you feel Russia's a bad guy in this?
No, not really.
What? Do you think there is
Do you
think there is a bad guy in this?
There's nothing in. I don't know. I think all big governments and nuclear weapons holding governments are bad guys to some extent, but Russia is not deviating in policy from any way it's ever been, and
so it's just the same
the
old
U.S.
story.
might be, but
What are we doing? Like, everyone's saying Trump's a puppet of Russia. Is there anything? Is there anything that's led you to believe that that's even remotely possible?
I don't think so. I mean, I think sometimes by accident he plays into their hands. I don't think they're whispering in his ear or that he is like beholden to them in any way. But I think anything that really undermines the integrity of the U.S. government works in Russia's favor. So making us look stupid abroad or sowing discord in the U.S. population, like that serves Russia's best interest, not ours. But I don't think he does it on purpose.
Yeah, so he's like tricked. His stupidity just helps out, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah.
I heard like Henry Rollins said he just gets tricked by everyone. You know, like he's the sucker.
He is. He's so easy to manipulate. You just be like, I bet you can't do this, or like, I heard this other guy did it better, and then he'd be like, no, watch this.
Okay.
Hold my beer.
So he's just more of a fool and not necessarily a pawn.
I think so.
Do you think? I mean, so I guess if we're bringing it kind of to somewhat like the U.S. election, I mean, do you think that Russia did have a large hand in kind of creating, dissent among groups within during the election time, and do you think that was anything new that they had been doing?
Well, I'm hesitant to say how big of a role it played. Do I think they manipulated the American public and the elections? Absolutely. I don't. Obviously, we're as a whole just as easy to play as Trump, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of fools out there.
Yeah, and Russia does have a history of meddling in that way, and so by sort of not really having a big, sharp objective when they do it, but just sort of sowing political discord wherever they go. Like, they've done it in Ukraine, they've done it in Georgia. It's just sort of spreading false propaganda and stoking the fire, really. I don't think they really had like a clear strategy going in except to cause chaos.
Yeah, they
just like, let's go fuck with
this. They sound like a bunch of high schoolers on the internet. Like when chat rooms just came out. Like, let's just see what we could do. Wow.
Basically. But to be honest, I don't know how big of a role it actually played. Because, I mean, you were here. We're suckers. We all got in fights with each other. Like, everybody was so quick to get angry about every little thing. And
oh, yeah. People get really proud.
Family members.
But that was a weird thing. They're like, I'm not talking to this person anymore. Because I'm like, haven't they always voted Republican? Like, why is this your line? Everyone wants to be like immediately outraged and then move on to the next subject. You've heard about the Nike shoes burning, right? Like, all these people are burning their Nike shoes because Colin Kaepernick is way better looking than them.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It's just sad how fast people want to just jump to this. But I guess that's what Russia plays into, like, let me poke this bear.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing I've been thinking about a lot recently is kind of how much did Russia actually, how much of a hand did they have, and how much of it is just kind of process of the advancement of technology and the dumbing down of a population, which has been going on for a long time.
If that's the case, we should be looking at India. All their servers and shit probably fucking with a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing here. I don't know. This is an uneducated guess, but I'm all signs point to India.
Well, I think they could do it. They have the technology, but I don't think that they like have this sort of sinister political agenda that we attribute to Russians.
That's exactly what they want us to think. Remember, before World War II, everyone thought Japan was just chill. They're like, they're over there making swords, eating with sticks. Don't worry about them. I'm calling it now. It's all India's fault.
India's the next one to worry about.
Well, like while you were overseas, and studying abroad, what was people's outlook on America? Were they pretty much like, yeah, they're just idiots, or is it like, yeah, they're just people?
I think. Well, I happened to be over there like during the election.
Which election? This last one?
Yeah, 2016. So there was a lot of, like, as soon as people found out I was American, they'd be like, oh, what do you think of the election? Who are you voting for? And they sort of, like, get excited about it. But I think in general, they're like, they think sort of America on the whole is kind of dumb. But, like, yeah, that they're just people. They don't hate the American people. They hate what America stands for sometimes, but not the American people.
Like, they still like the Fast and Furious movies. But they don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't like our Constitution.
There's still KFCs everywhere, but everybody disagrees with the drone bombings, which is understandable.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Let's talk about that. Like, you're against weapons a lot. What do you know about these drones and the bombings and usage of them? I mean, I don't know much. Only drones I see, they're my neighbors trying to film me.
Right.
Which is weird enough.
So, I mean, I don't know much about like America's actual operations with drones, like what they actually hit and when and why and all that, because I'm pretty sure that's classified. But
that's fine.
Like, I know that as far as like the UN and sort of like the international community is concerned, there's not a whole lot of like international law or way to govern whether that's like a war crime or not, or
I mean,
how it should be done.
Doesn't it seem like we're like the new form of gassing people? Like, we're able to just fuck people up from far distance away without them even realizing it until they're already dead?
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, back in the day you used to have to be in visual range of somebody and shoot them, and then you mustard gas them and then have to walk across their corpses. So, like, it was grim, but there was that personal aspect to it where you realized you were killing actual human beings. But now you could be, like, in South Carolina at a Navy base and droning someone on the other side of the world and not even have that sort of sense that you're actually killing human beings. And I think global governance needs to catch up with technology, just like with cybercrime and election hacking and stuff like that. It's too new for anybody to know how to make heads or tails of it, really.
It kind of seems that, like, we need to stop looking at our traditional, like, viewpoints of politicians and start looking to actual, like, smart people, like computer, like, you know, engineers and people that know where this is headed, kind of, as opposed to the people that are just against it going anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree, but to a point, because if you look at, like, when the Senate was interviewing Mark Zuckerberg or, like, you know, Elon Musk and all these people who are so focused on sort of using the technology and building the technology, they become sort of tunnel visioned and are so focused on what the capabilities are that there's no sort of philosophy about whether or not it's the right thing to do or how it could be potentially misused and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think you are right that people are starting to be sick of the same old politicians, and the same old politicians don't even know how to use Facebook. So how are we supposed to trust them to deal with this shit?
When Zuckerberg was in front of, what was it, Congress or whatever? Who was he talking to?
The Senate committee, I believe.
Yeah, whoever he was talking to, they didn't really seem like they understood anything what Facebook was doing, how they do it, like what it does. He was just like, it was almost like he's laughing at them, like, what do you mean, Grandpa? Like you just click here, like. It was super weird because, like,
one of them asked like how to check their Hotmail through Facebook or something like that. It was embarrassing.
And as like, I'm not even that, I wouldn't consider myself like crazy computer literate, but I'm sitting there going, these guys are running shit when I could, like, I think these are dumb questions. Like, it was a really interesting thing to watch clips of. I'm not going to say I sat through the whole thing. I watched clips. Highlights.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched some of it. So, yeah, it was hard to watch. It was cringy.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like. And I would rather them make you, like, they should make me feel dumb. You know, like, talking to you, I feel a little dumb, and I like that. I don't want to see the senators looking dumb. on TV.
On
I'm like,
TV,
other
yeah.
people are seeing this. Young people in India are mocking us and preparing.
Exactly.
They're writing down all of our tech questions and they're going to use them against us.
Yep.
I don't know. So, but that stuff is scary because it's over my head. But it was sad that it wasn't at that time. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And meanwhile, they like have unpaid interns who they rely on to handle all their social media stuff.
So that's how that works. Like, can you give us some insight on this process?
What process?
What all these politicians are up to?
Yeah, I mean, what is an average day for a senator or a congressman? Like, because I'd imagine that you have a little bit more insight than the average person on that. Like, I don't know what these guys do all day. They work a couple hours. They seem to make a big deal about having votes late at night.
Yeah,
but,
I
you
think
know,
that's their
and-
main gig is having those late night votes for posterity or whatever. Like, I've never worked in D.C., well, just briefly at a think tank, but, like, I've never worked on the Hill or anything like that, but I have had friends who have been interns and stuff, and it seems like it's the interns and staff who do everything, who sort of deal with angry constituents' phone calls and, you know, press releases and wanting media interviews and all that. And it seems like also they spent 90% of their time, like, working on the next campaign instead of, you know, actual lawmaking. They're worried about losing their seat or whatever all the time.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and that really bothers me, especially when you when I see people that have jobs running for other positions. I'm like, what are you doing? You get to just not do your job so you can run for the other thing?
Right? I always think about, like, when Obama got elected as president and he left that open Senate seat, and it's like, well, now you just don't have a senator right now. That seems silly.
Right? And I don't know exactly what a senator does, but it's probably not running for president. Like, that seems like a very busy thing on itself.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how that possibly works out for anybody's benefit in their district or whatever, or in their states if they're a senator.
I wish that we had, like, political monasteries, and then everyone that wanted to be into politics just had to give up everything and go live in these monasteries and really just sit there and think about our laws, like fucking monks. And they give up everything. Like, this is how you do it. You want to be a politician? You go live in this fucking monastery and you give up all worldly possessions and all you do is focus on the law. And our tax money will feed you and clothe you. They'll be on welfare. Like, as good as any welfare is, they can be on that.
Yeah, they'll be on Medicaid and have to maybe bus tables part-time.
Well, yeah, that's what all good
like
monks
that.
do.
I'm all for that. That sounds fantastic.
So, I mean, you did bring up something like writing and phoning your congressman or your senator always seems to be a big thing that people say. That's something that you can do that could affect the way, you know, your representatives vote for you. And you mentioned you've had some friends on the Hill. I mean, is that even effective? I mean, because it seems like less and less people vote, and I'm just talking to interns, and that interns not gonna be able to do anything with my, you know, me being upset that, you know, whatever the issue is. So, like, is it just a waste of time if these guys are out campaigning all the time? I mean, is there anything the average person can do?
I feel like there's probably, like, a critical mass. Like, if they get enough letters about the same thing and people feel the same way about that, they'll eventually realize that if they don't do what all these people say, they might lose votes. And I think that's the real motivation for them. And I think there's just, like, a certain volume they have to get of letters on a certain topic.
That sounds really inefficient.
Wouldn't it be more effective? I mean, couldn't it be more effective to take some of? I mean, Europe has had some protests where, you know, a couple million people are finally just like, nah, fuck this, we're done. Like, we're marching to the White House and we're gonna stay there until, you know, our will has been. You know, until our voice has been heard. Like, just is writing letters enough to actually bring any meaningful change? Or are you going to have to shut down your country?
Who reads letters nowadays? Old ass politicians. Like, what the fuck? Like,
unpaid interns and old people.
first of all, let me tell you this: if they're unpaid, let's get these interns paid a little bit, because they're unpaid. How easy is it to be like, hey man, here's fucking $5,000. Why don't you not tell the senator about that big pile of letters you got about us polluting that lake over there?
That's a good point.
You know, like if they're unpaid,
right?
and they have they're doing all the shit. Like there was an article that was released saying that there's people in the White House that are kind of doing this right now with Trump. And that seems like, well, these people need to be arrested, because you shouldn't be able to just run your own little government in the background.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And those are unpaid interns doing this now. Like, at least I thought these guys had fucking jobs, making money, making cash decisions. Now I'm like, they're writing off of bribes.
Well, I think the motivation behind being an unpaid intern is that you actually want to have a job in that field or in that office someday. So they're probably scared.
Have you unpaid interned ever?
Yes, I did. My UN internship was unpaid. It was for credit. I got my student loans, so I was able to, eat and stuff.
What is the UN like? Every time I hear about it, I fall asleep.
There's a lot of that. No, seriously, I have a huge photo album of people, including like high-level diplomats, passed out.
Like,
it's that boring, and it's that 24 hours a day.
And you would just chill. So you basically sit at a desk, listen to people talk, and take pictures of people who fell asleep.
At conferences, yes. In the office, there was a lot of spreadsheet type stuff, fancy emails. But no, it was fun. It was way better than I thought it would be, because unpaid internship, big, publicly funded governmental thing. Like, you'd think it'd be like, you'd think it would suck and that there's too many rules or something. But no, it was great. And I actually did feel like I was making connections and sort of doing something to help the world in my own small, minuscule way.
Did you ever abuse your power? Ever flex on a meter maid?
I think I printed out like my food stamp application on the work printer, but other than that, not really.
All right, I'm not sure if that's illegal, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave that in. So.
Oh no, I did use a couple of emails, or take a couple of email addresses that I might not have had access to otherwise.
Oh man, don't admit to that. She allegedly did that. Yeah. That's just a fantasy she had.
There's no evidence yet.
Oh, good. So, what was the goal while you were there in the UN? Did you help things? I don't know what the UN does. I don't know, like, you guys inspect things, right? I don't know what it does.
Well, I mean, there's so many things that the UN covers, because it's kind of like government for everything in the whole world.
Okay,
so my little corner was about small arms. So, and we had this big conference in June. So my entire internship was basically preparing for this big conference, and it's a treaty based on a resolution back in 2000, and it's like one of the only things of its kind where every country agreed to sort of work together to curb the flow of illicit weapons going from country to country. And so that was exciting. It was a big deal, and some countries take it very seriously, and that was very cool to see. And the U.S. tends to undermine these kind of things because, this is directly about guns.
Yeah, it's America.
We're so adamant about.
That's how we got America.
My guns.
If those Indians had guns, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
We'd all be naked and farming. It'd be awesome.
Well, what's great is, like, we do, sort of follow up on this treaty with countries that, aren't the United States. Countries in Africa where there's been conflicts in the past, or countries in the Middle East, stuff like that. The Caribbean, where there's lots of crime and nobody manufactures guns, yet there's so many guns because it's out of control. And these countries could really benefit from some of the stuff that the U.S. likes to block. And meanwhile, the U.S. knows nobody's going to do anything to our guns. What's the UN going to do? You know, they have no power over us.
That's kind of what I feel
We
like.
can kick them out of our country.
What I wonder is how come there's never been, or has there been, any like global push for each manufactured gun, especially now that we have the technology to have a tracker in it?
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. And there's now, like, a lot of countries who are pushing for, I mean, we have the ability to track even individual bullet rounds, you know?
Absolutely.
But it's countries like the U.S. who are like, nope, no way. We're talking about guns, not ammunition.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing this up? So, yeah, no, it's the U.S. and weirdly, Syria and Iraq and the U.S. tend to agree on everything in when we're talking about small arms.
Well, that's because they're our
about
bitches.
Small arms.
Those are our bitches, right? Like our puppets, you know?
Oh, yeah. We always agree on everything.
That's good. It's always good to have those kind of allies. I had this great idea. I had this great idea when cops. Remember when cops were killing everyone in America? I don't know if that stopped yet, but do you remember?
I definitely remember.
I had this idea of you put a camera on the gun and it only turns on when they unholster it, so you could see whatever it's pointing at whenever they're using it. That way they're.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and I was thinking like we could easily have that. We have the technology, and that way they don't feel. Because like the camera on the chest on 24-hour really does feel kind of like an invasion of privacy. But I say, how about you're only filmed when you unholster that gun, which is I think should be public knowledge at that point.
That's brilliant. And I mean, you could potentially do that with every gun, and that way you'd never have those court cases where it's like, was it stand your ground? Was it not? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like when the trigger is pulled or the trigger is touched or the handle is pulled or safety is off, a camera's just activated.
Yeah.
And it's there, and there you go. And then now there's no more questions because we have small enough cameras, small enough microphones, small enough batteries. This could easily happen. You know, like if I wanted to push that idea to a government official. How would I do that? Because I don't want an intern to read that fucking letter and take all the credit.
Yeah, so no letter writing campaigns?
So
that's brilliant. No, you should do a YouTube video and then post it on every social media and then like at certain politicians who might be down.
Okay,
like I feel like Feinstein would be on board.
Oh, Diane. Have you ever met her? Is her voice as sexy as it is? Like in real life?
I don't know. I've never met her. I wish.
Have you? Can you name drop any sweet, politicians you've met? I don't know. Is that even a good thing? Do you name drop politicians?
I haven't actually met anybody super well known.
What about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, sadly.
Well, like
he seems like a blast, though.
So you're saying like if someone had an idea, and they wanted to get it to someone, the best way is probably to just use social media and tag these people in it. Now, earlier you said their interns run the social media, so same thing.
Well, at least they couldn't like try and steal credit for it if there's video of you describing it.
I don't care who gets the credit. I just want people to do that shit. You know, every time a gun's pointed at me, I'd like other people to know why.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I like that. That's brilliant. Yeah, I think the trick to getting something like that off the ground is either make it go viral or contact the right people, which is always a crapshoot, or both.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're a cop worth your shit, you wouldn't mind this at all, because all it does is it would do is justify you and like protect you. Like it covers your ass. Like nope, I pulled the gun out. Now you see everything that's happening. You know, and you're not being recorded when you're on the toilet. That's what I thought
real.
when they were like,
dropping N-bombs or whatever.
Yeah, and like you could do that. You know, sometimes you have to say no. No, but I mean,
I like that.
Yeah, I just think it's a better idea than being constantly like. If I was a cop and they're like, "Look, you have to wear this chest camera all day now so you could feed your family," I'm like, "Fuck that." That's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, being on video, I'm worried about being on video camera in any regard, let alone 24/7.
Well,
isn't it? Yeah.
I just think video should be like sex. You have to have consent.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Consent's like super important. And the cops, like with the chest camera, wouldn't. I don't know. So like, what movements or like actions or like I don't know, have you put towards getting rid of small guns and small arms and whatnot?
Well,
or do you mostly just gather money?
I sort of gather data. Like, basically, there's a reporting system, and each government is supposed to, it's voluntary, you can't make them, but they're supposed to sort of report. There's a standardized template for this report, and they're supposed to fill it out with information, and over the years, theoretically, this information is supposed to show whether or not they've made progress towards achieving the goals of this treaty, which is, of course, to stem the flow of illegal guns. And some countries have really done a lot, and some haven't done much at all. But my job is to basically see what's working as far as reporting.
And what?
Like, which questions are not giving us good information? What questions could we ask instead?
And what type of questions are on there? And what would a country who's making good progress, what would some of their steps look like that they might be doing in a given year?
Okay, so the questions, like, it's divided up into sections, like sort of legal, sort of numbers of what you've done. So, like, there's questions like, do you have national gun laws, period? Or do you have these import laws? Do the guns have to be marked in general if they're manufactured in your country? Do they have to be marked upon import? Like, what's your marking system look like? Have you confiscated any weapons in the reporting period? Have you destroyed any? Please, report the numbers of this and that. And so I think the most important part of the reporting is, like, whether or not they've confiscated any illegal arms and what they did once they confiscated them, whether they've sort of issued an international trace, like, to find out where it came from, if they, melted the guns down to scrap metal, or what they've done.
Yeah, so what countries are kind of getting, I mean, obviously, we understand South America, but that's like a lot. Like Central America also, like where are these guns, like real, like the U.S., our badass American-made guns? Who's getting these?
Everywhere.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at any country who confiscates illegal arms, I'm sure they're going to find at least one or two American guns in the mix.
But that's it.
We're America. We make the best guns.
I agree. We have the best steel, the best everything,
Yep.
The best gunsmiths, best marketing,
Yep.
best secret transportation. How, like,
Yep.
like, have you studied like the main way of gun transportation? Because I watched Sons of Anarchy, and those guys ran guns, and they would use like crates in like semi trucks. No one's checking every semi truck because I've never seen a semi truck being checked, and I've been driving a long time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like, what are things that countries have in place to even stop it? Like, I mean, to stop someone from carrying a gun anywhere or transporting a gun anywhere, it's the same as trying to stop someone from taking like a vase somewhere. Like, how can you be on top of that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I did for actually something not related to guns, but to like radiological terrorism or something. I did like a research project on the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, and how easy it would be to smuggle in something radioactive.
Yeah, I took my son to look at that port.
Like, it's possible.
That port is huge. I don't even know how we as a or whoever runs that, how they even keep track of all those fucking containers, let alone there's no way they're searching them all. Like, I just like, hey son, look at this, one of the biggest ports, and we just sat there looking, and it's like, this is fucking nuts. No one can track what's in these shits, dude. Like, who not? Like, that's crazy. And you're talking.
No, it's nuts. They do like basically random selection, like at the airport. But even you can't even pull like racial bullshit like you can at the airport. You just randomly select which ship you're going to search. And I think they only search like 1 or 2 containers on an entire ship when they do that. So, I mean,
so you just,
have to like
put them in the back. Put the guns in the back.
Put them in the middle somewhere.
You were saying radiological weapons, like that. What is that? Like that? I kind of think I know, but I don't want to sound like a dummy.
Like anything like radioactive that could be made into a dirty bomb or something, or that could give people radiation sickness, that kind of thing.
I've heard of like in other countries like they get abandoned or left, and there's like old dental equipment that has a lot of radioactive shit in there. People come across it, fuck around, get sick and die, or end up like knowing what it is and then selling it as dirty bomb stuff. Is anyone watching for that kind of shit, like where dental equipment like goes? Because like a lot of those X-ray machines are pretty powerful, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's pretty well on lock in the U.S., but you're right, like, these other countries, it's like, who knows? And some of them have, like, even older machines, which are even more, like, powerful as far as, like, the x-rays and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's entirely possible that, like, there's all kinds of radioactive decay all over the place.
I'm still worried about Fukushima. No one's talked about that shit in like 8 years or something, 5 years. But allegedly it was dumping a bunch and it was unstoppable. I just figure, I'm not good at math, but a bunch times this many years has got to be a lot more. Have they stopped that?
It's definitely still a problem, a major problem. That's not really something I know that much about because it's like a lot more science than I'm used to.
Well, couldn't people weaponize that kind of pollution?
Problem. It'd be really hard to weaponize unless you're willing to get sick yourself and not sort of cause the mass destruction that you'd expect from like an actual nuclear bomb or a chemical weapons attack or something.
Okay. In all of your research, what's like one of the craziest or like not craziest, probably saddest I should ask, but weapons attack you've researched? Like what are these horrific events that any of them stick out in your mind?
Oh, geez. I know that where they used to do nuclear tests, the Soviet Union, in Kazakhstan or whatever, there's entire villages of people who are, like, really, really sick. And I know there's a lot of places that nobody can go to because of that. But as far as actual attacks, I don't know. That's kind of hard. I don't know. I think the terrorist attacks are usually the hardest to read about because they're just so brutal and so indiscriminate.
And like, who are these terrorists and where are they coming from? Where are they doing this stuff?
I think that's the scariest part about terrorism is it could be like anybody could be mad enough or maladjusted enough to be recruited just based on the fact that they agree with something. It's kind of like cult recruitment, like if somebody's kind of lost and there's a big, powerful, manipulative, influential person who can sort of convince them to join, like people will do anything. Like right now, yeah, there's a lot of like radical Islamic terrorism.
There's what?
That's just one of the things. Like if you look at the alt-right and how they sort of
that's my party.
Pick off incels and stuff. And
what's an incel?
Sort of involuntary celibate. Those guys
no.
who hate women.
Guys that can't get laid. I was never one of those.
To the point that they want to murder women.
That's never been an issue for me. That's so sad, though. I was born handsome, so that's just not out. That's out of my realm.
I know. It's kind of hard to relate. But.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, yeah. So these are the biggest issues in America right now. Are these virgins?
Absolutely.
Gotta get the
virgins are going to destroy the U.S.
Fucking prudes, man. Can we still say the P word?
Yes.
I'm gonna call the incels prude. No, they're not prudes. They want. So these are just guys. All right. So there's lonely guys who want to get laid, and so they kill women, or is it people? Mostly women. They seem like cowards.
Yeah. Well, it's feminism's fault, of course.
Well, according to Camille Paglia, like she does say that a lot of great civilizations' downfall does come when the male side gets more feminine, and they start to relax, and like when you become so successful, so great, so accomplished, so cultured that you start to blend into your own kind of, like weird, like the gender roles start to blend, and then boom, the fall happens because you become weaker or something. I'm not exactly quoting her correctly, but she does point out that
I've never heard that one. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, you should check it out. Yeah, Camille Paglia, like she talks about how like when certain civilizations right before they fall, they usually reach a level of that, like kind of like they start to have like orgies and becoming like less prude, like they it starts like basically you just imagine like someone starting to party a lot, like you went to college, imagine that person that like they've been to college just enough so now they just start partying and that's all they do and they kind of lose track. That's what that's what civilizations do, basically right before they fail they're Van Wilders, they're just like party they lost track of their goal.
That explains the opiate crisis then, right?
Well, I feel like a lot of people don't want to feel sad or feel bad because a lot of people have this fantasy of being happy always, and they're really ignoring the real spectrum they need to be concentrating on is the human emotions, which covers from sadness to happiness. And you have to feel sad, you have to feel bad, you have to feel lonely. Those are things you shouldn't avoid. And a lot of people use these drugs.
Oh my God, I agree with that so much. And especially in the United States, you're made to feel like a failure if you feel any of those for a second.
Mm-hmm. And I always embrace them and I let them run their course, and it helps me feel like more balanced. And I tell people like, look, I'm mad right now, and I'm not gonna pretend I'm not. So don't be around it, but let me be this, because it's gonna help me. I don't want to fucking bottle it up.
Oh my God, amen.
Yeah.
That's so healthy, I think. I love that.
Well, maybe these insoles just need to be told that. Like, it's going to feel bad to ask a girl out, but if you don't fucking do it, then you're not going to get pussy. Then you're going to murder people.
And if she says no, then accept that.
Yeah, just move on. Go to the next one. Like, seriously, try the 1 in 100 approach. It's going to happen.
But, and hasn't it been happening, too, where there have been cases in the States where you'll have, like, undercover government officials who are basically taking these young, vulnerable men and kind of poking them and prodding them until they are ready to, strap on a bomb and walk into a sporting event or whatever they catch them trying to do, and then they turn and arrest them for that, which just you shouldn't be led down that path. But you also seems like you're wasting a lot of energy on someone who wouldn't have gone down this path unless you kind of pushed him down the stairs.
Yeah. I feel like
Totally.
a virgin over the age of 22 is probably someone that's very easy to manipulate and frustrated enough to get them to do some crazy stupid shit. It's sad, but we need to start looking out for this, This is
I agree. That's so true. Like, I read this one story about this guy who was just kind of dumb and trying to like impress his friends or whatever by being a badass, and he got like cajoled by like an FBI agent who was undercover until he actually became a terrorist. And it's like,
what did he do?
Do that? I don't even remember. This is something I read a while ago.
Well, obviously he didn't follow through with it, but they set him up to get to be able to go through with it, and then arrested him before.
Yeah, that sounds right.
This seems like they're just padding their numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that seems like it's not just like a speeding ticket. Like, it's not like you're just pulling this guy over on the side of the road to get an extra speeding ticket. Like, you're spending, I would presumably, months like focusing on just like fucking with this guy's head. Like, that doesn't seem like a productive way to fight terrorism or anything.
Well, I feel like it's a salesman who makes a living purely off of commission, and they keep having like their girlfriend or their mom coming in and buying products from them that they pay for, so they looks like they're making sales. Like, you're just padding your numbers while still doing. You're making nothing here. You're going nowhere. You're spinning the wheels. I don't know. I'm still mad at these virgins.
That makes so much sense though. And then also, to top that off, like, the consequences are that person's life is obviously ruined. But then again, so is their families. They might be harassed for being like family members of a terrorist or whatever.
Yeah.
If a terrorist was in my family, I'd be pissed at
the
his
political climate because people are scared of their own neighbors now that one of their neighbors turned into a terrorist, but somebody made them a terrorist, and it's a snowball.
Then it can happen to anyone. Now you're sending your kids to military school. I'm just saying, I kind of wish I went to military school.
Yeah?
Yeah, but that's me, finished with school. Done. I can have fantasies like that. But it is important. I mean, I don't know. I'm happy you're out there doing this work, Summer. But, like, what's your goal? Like, what are you really trying to get into to really stop this? Are you trying to are you staying global? Or are you going to focus on certain areas?
Right now, to be completely honest, I'm totally lost since my internship ended and I graduated. Like, I've been applying at think tanks and stuff. Nobody's hiring me. We'll see what happens. But I'm pretty open.
That's good.
Like, I'm willing. Well, actually, I'd love to go work at the UN permanently. I'd also be open to working at any size think tank that has to do with either anything from guns to nuclear weapons.
I mean, I love guns.
I think there's an opportunity in all of these potential jobs to, like, actually make a difference, at least in one person's life. I know that sounds so corny, but if I could save, like, one Yemeni from an American gun, like, even if I never know it, it would all be worth it,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But they're getting droned.
Yeah.
Those Yemenis they would pray for a gunshot. Oh, let me duck and just be safe. I mean, like, it's really bad. Like, I'm a super macho man, and I love my guns and America and barbecue, but it feels like cheating when you can just really drop a bomb from a remote control plane. A guided missile. It's to me it takes all the sport away. Why'd I learn how to shoot long distance if you just have a fucking robot do it?
Right.
I mean,
no, I agree. I think that's probably one of the next big things, that and cybersecurity, because if we don't get that under control, someone could come along and shut down the entire United States power grid.
What do you think the chances of that are? I mean, do you guys ever discuss that in, like, your UN friends or like people like that? Do you guys discuss what if America got shut down? Which couldn't happen, by the way.
What's weird is, like, nobody wants to discuss that. In grad school, like, sometimes we'd have discussions about this sort of thing, and I always sort of came out feeling like a bit of a crazy fatalist, because people were like, oh, this will never happen, that'll never happen, terrorists will never get a nuclear weapon. Our grid is so spread out that nobody will shut the whole thing down. It's separate entities, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. Nobody thought 9/11 would happen.
And it
could totally happen.
Actually, like 2 months before 9/11 happened, there was a show called The Lone Gunman. That was a spin-off of the X-Files that totally had the same exact 9/11 scenario. Well, 2 planes hijacked, ran into the Twin Towers.
Well, and 2 years in August of 2003, my first time in New York City, there was some sort of switch blew at a power plant in Cleveland, and it shut down the entire eastern seaboard. Like, it shut down all the way up to Montreal, it shut down Philly, Cleveland, it shut down all of New York City for like 2 days. Like, for at least like a day, most of New York City was without power for over 24 hours. So it's like, and that was just 2 dumbasses in Cleveland, like, not paying attention to an alarm that was going off. Like, that wasn't even anything that took any sort of planning.
Yeah, it wasn't even malicious.
Yeah, it was just
I for one, and I almost hate myself for it, but most of the time I don't, because I love myself. But I always think of the worst case scenario. Even if I don't think it's the most likely, I still think of it.
Yeah.
I think my girlfriend will cheat on me, but I don't think that's most likely. But I think of what would it be like if she did. What would things like that? Like, I think, like, my car's not gonna, the brakes aren't gonna fail right now. But what if they did? What would I do? You know,
Right?
Yeah.
how would I prepare for
Yeah,
this?
totally.
It's like I don't think it's
That
likely,
guy's
but I
not
still
gonna
think
push me
about
off the subway platform, but what if he did?
it. Yes, oh, absolutely. Just all that. Boop, you never know, and like I think about it, but I don't think it's likely. The thought crossed my path, and it's super weird to hear that, like all these, intellectual eggheads don't want to look at that. Like you're being too optimistic all the time, and that's fine. But like, just think of the worst case scenario, because that would help you be prepared, which I think is more optimistic to be prepared than to be caught
I
off guard.
think you're totally right about that. I think that's 100% accurate. I think somebody's got to think of the dark stuff. Like, I know somewhere in the vault there's some kind of contingency plan for, like, hostile alien invasion and
Oh,
total
100%.
nuclear war.
We
all
made a-
that
There
stuff.
is. All the guns that Americans made will be put to purpose.
We just no.
Everyone shoot up. No,
We just get Bill Pullman and Will Smith, and we'll be good.
as someone who's descendant from aliens, I like.
Yeah.
No, but I thought I was. No, but I do think we should have plans for all of that shit. I mean, we should have plans for Hawaii sinking, not sinking, but just being, I don't know, like engulfed in a volcano bubble, like a burp. Bloop. I could see that, dude. I don't know. You should always think about it, though.
Yeah, it's good
I
to have
agree.
plans.
Do you guys remember when?
I think that's probably my niche.
That's good. We need people like you to be thinking about these worst case scenarios. Do you guys remember when Hawaii had those missile alerts?
Yeah, that was like earlier this year or last year or something.
How do you
yeah.
feel about that? Like them being able to just tell you that and then whatever. Like I could imagine people might have killed themselves. Like might have confessed weird things, which would just be funny.
Who knows? Maybe someone tried to kill their kids. Like it's like I'm not going to let the Russians get my kids. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
crazy things can go
exactly.
through people's heads.
What?
I feel like probably most of what happened is some, like, recovering addicts and alcoholics who had a lot of clean time blew it that day. But
That's hilarious.
yeah, there was a lot of discussion about that, obviously, in my field after that. And it's like, what can you do? And even is it, like, ethical to warn people if there's nothing they can do about it? It's just
Now that
That-
is a fun thing.
That's an interesting question.
I think ignorance is bliss in that situation because of
I
all the
agree.
things we just said. Like, what about the lunatics? Like, because especially if you don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
you can't let lunatics get crazy because you never know. Like, there might be some guy, probably named Chuck, and he'll rape someone just thinking, I only got an hour to live. That's the girl I love the most.
Yeah.
She ignores me, and God forbid that scenario is real, but like I also feel it's very probable.
Well, it's like the question that people get asked all the time too: is if you could be told when and how you were going to die, would you want to know? And my answer is always no. Like that's
I do because
I don't wanna know at all.
I would change it. I would change it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what's happening. I'm not going there.
you get a final destination.
I'll
Your
fuck with
ending?
death all day. What about you, Summer? If someone could tell you how you would die and when, would you want to know?
I don't think so.
Man, you guys are pussies. I would be like, yeah, tell me. Then you guys will see me either walking around really happy or really sad.
Yeah. What if you die in a really really sad way?
I'll accept it, but I always want to die in a cool way.
Yeah. What if it's a lame
Yeah,
way?
sad would be fine. Tell me if it's sad, just as long as it's not too fucking gory or painful. Like,
Well, yeah.
I don't, like, if my throat gets slit, I don't want to know about that in advance. That sounds terrible.
That sounds like I'd buy a metal collar. I'd be wearing like mesh, like shark bite shit all around. Why are you wearing that funny hat, Art? Worry about it. Something may happen. Because I don't know how to shut up. No, I'm just Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I'd love to talk to you more. You're a wealth of knowledge.
Sure. This was a blast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Summer. We'll
Yeah.
tag you in everything that we put it out. So
Appreciate
you'll
it.
know. And we appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to plug anything if anyone wants to contact you or anything, or you want to give out any of that, or do you want to just remain?
Follow me on Twitter at SummerGary3.
All right.
All right.
You heard it there. Thank you so much, Summer.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll talk again.
Good.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Summer Gary 3, everyone, on the Twitters.
All right.
That was fun.
That was great. Yeah. No, that was. It's really cool to talk to someone that intelligent and that like well versed in their
I was
field.
hella smart, dude. I was starting to get stupid. I was like, oh, I'm what? I don't know, but it's crazy. Yeah, so I believe her. I believe that our president is not colluding. He's just probably a moron and gets tricked into things every now and then. I also believe that droning is unfair. It's fucked up. You want to kill someone, you should at least do it with the telescope and a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fair, depending.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow up a whole building, is what I'm trying to say. You know, but I mean, in killing, can you be fair? No. If aliens do attack, we'll all be grateful for all the guns that are spread out throughout America and the world.
And turns out, from one of the few people I've met who've been to Russia, that yeah, the Russians just love their kids too. They just kind of, like to. They're not
human.
that different. Yeah, they're not really that different. It sounds like.
I've always loved the Russian culture and the Russian people because they are humans, and I love all of those. Anyways, I hope you guys all do that too. This has been a Mature Adult Time interview series.
Yep. Do a couple things here real quick. This podcast is produced by Mature Adult Time Entertainment. Mate is a podcast production and comedy dojo / studio based in Inglewood, the city of Champions, California. We offer recording, we offer video production, we offer on-site expertise, we offer website and storage. We offer a lot of things. Just hit us up at booking@matureadulttime.com if you are interested. And please make sure you check out the other podcasts on the network.
Fuck yeah. And I'm Art Hernandez. You guys could follow me on all the stuff below this link, wherever you heard this. You know how to find me.
All right, I'm Eric Kaz. Thanks for listening, guys.
Love
Catch you
bitches.
later.
Love you. Stay sexy and hot. And we're looking out for you, India.
Oh, that was fun.
It looks so pretty.
Bye.
Thanks, mate.